Okay, and we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope everyone's having a very good Saturday. So, some interesting news that we want to go through on today's show, and I guess we're going to kick off with the thumbnail with the title, and that's Manchester divided. Manchester United once again find themselves divided in the dressing room, division amongst the players. I don't know who could have seen this one coming. It's not like we haven't seen this so many times already, but I want to get reacting to an article that's come out today, really interesting, from Andy Mitten, really good reporter for all things Manchester United. So he has been saying the understanding from a lot of sources is that many Manchester United players have lost belief and confidence. I think this is key. They've lost belief and confidence in themselves, in the manager, and in the project itself. They have issues the club has been run, and several didn't think the strategic review / takeover going on in the background helped the solidity of the club either. However, reports of Erik Ten Hag losing the entire dressing room are not accurate. Some players are right behind him and always will be. Other players are not on side with the manager. Ten Hag also has doubts of his own about some players, and some have proved incapable of following his specific instructions on the pitch. So I think it's an interesting way to kick off, and an interesting sort of way to look at things. So I don't think it would have took a genius to really tell us that Erik Ten Hag might not have the entire Manchester United locker room on side, that there might be divisions in this club. But I do think it's interesting that a lot of the players seem to be on side, and he has his own doubts about the players. The players have their doubts about him. They have doubts about the direction of the club. It's very much up in the air. So I think it's a good time if you're Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come in and lay down your plans, lay down what you want to do, try to get people on side early doors, and that does seem to be feeding into this. Everything we see about Ratcliffe coming out at the minute looks to be really positive as well. Stephanie's down there saying vote, like, subscribe. Thank you, Stephanie. And Lone Rangers FC in response to the poll question as well. Look, guys, another interesting thing coming out in this one as well, and I think this is something a lot of us have felt for a while about Erik Ten Hag himself, and this is about the kind of transfer control and the overall approach he's had to Manchester United. So Erik has totally mishandled and misjudged the qualities needed to play in the Premier League. Everyone in the industry thinks he's a good coach, but if he had an experienced sports director alongside him, like he had with Mark Overmars at Ajax, then he wouldn't need to worry so much about recruitment, he wouldn't need to worry about player punishment, and he wouldn't have to worry about players leaving and going. He could focus on his own job. He says even Pep has cheeky at Manchester City, at United. You have Erik Ten Hag and who? That's the question that a leading agent had said to Andy Mitten. And I think I do think this is kind of reflective of what we've been feeling for quite a long time in the fan base. You know, there is no support around Erik Ten Hag. He probably has needed that support throughout his Manchester United tenure, and what he does next will be really important, because I personally can't see Ten Hag lasting as our manager if he isn't willing to work with others, and if he wants to keep on doing it his way. And I just can't see that there working. I mean, I'm positive you guys are feeling the same. I think we look at the transfer mistakes that we've made with Antony or Mount or even Casemiro, Højlund, we haven't got anywhere near enough out of yet. Countless others, Malacia, Eriksson, you know, all questionable. Even Lisandro Martinez might not be the same player once he comes back from his injury. So certainly there's a lot of interesting things that have to go on. There's a lot of exchanges are going to have to take place, and I think Ten Hag's going to have to give a little to get a little as well if he is to remain Manchester United manager, and there's no guarantee of that either. Big T says, what if Ten Hag's a right plonker? There's a situation where the players are rightly not happy with him. Yeah, look, there probably is, but I think as well there's always going to be players on side, there's always going to be players against what Ten Hag's trying to do. Do we know how many are for, how many are against? No, we don't. It might be a case that it's only the players he's brought to the club that are on his side. It might be a case that 4 or 5 players are not on side and the rest are. It is questionable, and we don't really have the full details on that side of the story as of yet. But it is interesting that he hasn't lost the entire dressing room. Some people do seem to be on side with him. Whether or not that's like Antony, who knows that Ten Hag's the only guy going to play him at the club. Whether or not that somebody like Scott McTominay, who has been picked maybe when he shouldn't have been at times this season, I'm not too sure. Big T says he said the football had failed all. We all know the Glazers have nothing to do with football. Yeah, that's true as well. the Glazers don't have anything to do with the football, certainly not now, but over the years they've had bits and pieces. They've stepped in when they felt they should have, and probably they really shouldn't have, if we're being honest with ourselves. But I do think the lack of a genuine top level director of football and sports directors and planning at this club, it's really caused big issues. It's good to see Rajat in the comments. Thanks for joining in. Jason says too many players are soft and weak mentally. I don't think any of these players would last in Fergie's era. Probably not. I mean, look, when you're seeing players complaining, looking sympathy off the fan base because they have to work at night and drive home in the dark, I mean, this is they're never going to last in a proper era of Manchester United, when we're actually being run as a club we're meant to be. But look, I think it's an interesting article from Andy Mitten. There is some other things I want to run through with it, because whilst it does look like the strategic review, the takeover, the sale, whatever you guys want to call it, whatever the club wants to label it, it does seem to have had an adverse effect on the stability of the club. There's no doubt about that. And with Richard Arnold knowing he was going to lose his job, was he really putting his everything into Manchester United? Was he trying to save his own skin? I think we all know he's trying to save himself. I think John Murda is probably in the same boat. But Andy Mitten has said Sir Dave Brailsford and Sir Jim Radcliffe made a very positive impression and impact when they met Manchester United staff on Thursday. Brailsford wants to look under the bonnet at the components that make up his remit on the footballing side, and there are heads of departments who are absolutely fine with that. The strategic review has led to significant uncertainty among staff and is now becomes unease over what Ineos will do, what powers they will have, and this has proved a distraction for some some staff, and more subliminally for players, undermining the authority of both Erik Ten Hag and John Murda. Basically, what they're saying is, whilst the Glazer family might not be involved with the footballing side of it, not knowing if your boss is going to be your boss in a month's time, 2 months' time, that probably has affected the players in some way. John Murda not knowing if he's going to have a job in 2 months' time has probably affected his workload, his quality of work, and what you're getting out of that guy. It might be the same with Ten Hag. It definitely was the case with Richard Arnold. We know this from really good reporting that has gone on around, that Richard Arnold really had tried to throw as many wrenches into the works of the actual takeover process as he could along the way. Some interesting stuff coming in as well. Big T is in there. Jarl is saying Arnold news. He said like United was about to catch City. Yeah, he did say that back in September. Of course he did. And what are we, like 10 points off City? Even though City's not having a good season. Rajat said John Murda has done nothing. No, he hasn't done anything, man. He's managed to survive. He's a really good survivor. He manages to somehow cling on to his role. But we have to think now with Radcliffe, with Ineos, with Brailsford, Blanc coming in, they're going to take a look at this guy and go like, who is this guy? What is he doing running the footballing side of Manchester United Football Club? This is a guy who had never been a complete director of football. He has never had that much responsibility in his life at any other club. I think he came from Everton, where he was involved behind the scenes. He was an absolute appointment made by Ed Woodward to try shut the fans up by saying, yeah, look, we have modernised the structure. And he was deemed so unimpressive even by Woodward that they decided to announce Darren Fletcher on the same day in a role that they really just created without giving it any kind of specific powers or remit, and just hope for the best. I mean, I think you can see that now. Darren Fletcher, as technical director, has probably done more sitting on the bench at Old Trafford or sitting on the bench and watching training sessions at Carrington than he has done in terms of his actual job role as well. So, it isn't good. And I think some of the stories we're seeing this week really do make you question what's been going on at this club. The Ronaldo story coming out, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Ollie didn't even know Ronaldo was coming until he was signed. He was the last person told about it, and he was the manager of Manchester United at the time. So, it's a difficult place to go and succeed. It really, really is, guys. Big T says it was well documented. The Glazers were like, Ten Hag signed the contract and he needs to get on with it. If he can't, then leave. I mean, yeah, that's also true. I think you have to know what you're getting into, and if Ten Hag is taken by surprise at the way this club is run, then that probably is his own fault as well. I think his problem is that he has far too many things on his plate at one go. I think we've been overly reliant on players he's worked with before, and I don't think that was ever the right strategy. I don't think that was ever the right plan. Jarl says if Murda still at the club, he needs to be moved down to academy again. He's very good at running that type of thing. He's really out of his league right now. He is. I do believe that they will want a complete reset Ineos. I don't think Murda will be kept on. I really would be surprised because, what does that do to the overall leaks coming out of the club? What does that do to the opinion within the club? If you have a guy who had a lot of power getting a massive demotion, is he going to start feeding stuff out into the press? He probably is. Stephanie goes, Murda learning on the job. He must have gone to a slow tracking course. Yeah, I mean, he's been doing an apprenticeship in how to be a director of football at the biggest club in the world, and that's just not ever going to work out particularly well for Manchester United or for John Murda. It's really not, guys. Look, an interesting question I have been asking about transfers. What do you guys think is going to happen in this upcoming transfer window? Now, in terms of the poll, we've got 17 votes on it so far. 59% think we're only going to bring in loan signings. 18% think we might bring in an actual signing, and 24% say there will be no signings in this January transfer window. I think it's an interesting one. I think Karl Anka made the point that by letting Sergio Reguilon go now, that Luke Shaw is back to fitness, as is Terrell Malacia, and Dallo can play left back as well. It means that we've basically freed up another lone spot in the squad. Now, look, there's a lot of talk about Timo Werner. I don't think that was anybody's first choice. I don't think anyone really wanted to see Timo Werner playing for Manchester United, because this is a guy who notoriously couldn't finish at Chelsea. He needs chances to finish. We don't even make chances in the first place. So what could be the point of bringing Timo Werner in either? That doesn't quite make sense to me, if we're being honest with ourselves. It really, really doesn't. Jarl says Ronaldo does like the club, but was all wrong in the end there. He had a massive mistake. Ten Hag could have done a mistake as well. The club did the right thing to terminate him. I think they probably have done. Big T says surely Ineos will bring their own doctors and medical staff. Any news on this? I'm positive they will. There's going to be a lot of changes. There is no way that Ineos, when Brailsford takes a look under the bonnet, and so to speak, because that's the exact quote that was given to Andy Mitten, when he takes a look and looks at all the components of the engine of Manchester United, he's going to take a look at it, and he's going to say, we've had a director of football learning on the job. We've had Ed Woodward's best friend as CEO for the last couple of years. Before that was Woodward himself, who was a commercial banker. There's never been anyone with any footballing knowledge making any kind of major calls on this club. Then I think they're going to take the view of it and look at it in the sense that, yeah, this club just needs completely reset from top to bottom. Rosat goes, no, Ten Hag didn't deal with Ronaldo so well. He left him as an unused sub against Man City and was about to bring him on with 2 or 3 minutes versus Tottenham. I mean, yeah, those things are also true. Look, I don't think that it was an easy decision to make. I don't think it should have been Ten Hag's decision to make in the first place. That should have been the club's decision. And this, again, is stuff that should not be within the head coach of Manchester United's remit. He shouldn't have to deal with stuff like that, because fundamentally that's not his job. He's meant to be the coach. He's meant to pick the team. He's not meant to be the one deciding what happens with players' contracts or what happens with players coming in and out. That's not what he's here to do. And the fact that he had to deal with that, and the fact that he was dealing with that, does show that, once again, there's no authority at this club. There's no one in an executive role with any backbone to make any major calls. Look, guys, if you can drop a like on the video, would be massively appreciated. Big T says, I don't think Ronaldo is finished at the club. I'm not sure in what capacity, but I think he returns one day. And I think he's done this time. I think that was the last dance. Ronaldo's like 38, 39 years old now, playing in Saudi. I just can't see him coming back. And he's not going to come back, because I doubt he becomes a manager at any point. He might prove me wrong, but I would be surprised. Jarl says, if Ronaldo does return, it'll mostly happen after the World Cup, which will take place in Saudi Arabia. He'll be the front man for that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either, guys. Look, if you could drop a like on the video, would be really, really appreciated, guys, as well. I want to go through some of the other stuff. I think an interesting side note is Alejandro Garnacho being player for the month for December. I think maybe Kobe Mainoo could have got it, if we're being honest with ourselves. But, I mean, Garnacho got it probably because of the goals. Timo Werner on the verge of joining Tottenham. That's not going to happen to us. I don't think that's a bad deal, to be honest. Tottenham do make a lot of chances, so it might make sense for them. thankfully for us as well, we don't make any chances. So Timo Werner is unlikely to become a target for us at any point. And I didn't really think that deal was going to happen at any point. Really, if we're being honest with ourselves, maybe we go bring a Gallo back. Who knows what this club is thinking or what the plan is, if there even is a plan. Because you do kind of get the opinion that everybody at this club has been waiting for Ineos to come in for so long that they've basically said, let's not make a decision on this. This will be an Ineos decision. Let's leave this to Ineos. Let's leave this to Radcliffe. Let's leave this to Brailsford. Let them deal with it. Maybe that's what they're thinking as well. Stefan goes 13 likes, 18 watching, 18 votes. Yeah, guys, thanks very much as well for dropping those likes as well. Much appreciated. Just a side note as well, because I remember we had this conversation maybe a week or so ago about increasing the amount of content coming up on the channel. I think when I've been looking at it, because I have been doing some research, it does look like YouTube's having a problem over the last couple of months, really, with in terms of actual pushing out of live streams. I don't know why, but it does look like everyone's numbers are massively down. I'm talking like United Stand, I'm talking People TV, even Stretford Paddock. So I think the plan's probably going to be to bring in some videos, and I think that will be what we'll do first and foremost, because videos do seem to be performing well. So I'll probably record something after this. We might get it up tomorrow or Monday, and then I'll try to do a daily video as far as possible, and hopefully from there we can bring in some more live streams as well, because you guys do obviously like the live interaction as well. Rajat goes, I don't really want Calvin Phillips. Anyone going to watch Preston versus Chelsea? I don't know, man. I was gonna watch the Sunderland Newcastle match, and I had to turn it off after like 5 minutes because Sunderland and Newcastle, both in their home kits, both weren't striped kits, and I just couldn't follow it. I really, really couldn't. Big T says, can you name me a better attacking coach and role model in the world than Ronaldo? Absolute madness not to utilise him. I mean, yeah, look, you got that there. You got his professionalism, and ultimately, one of the big issues Ronaldo had this club was the players here couldn't deal with his level of professionalism and commitment and desire and mentality. That was part of the thing. And look, I had this conversation with a friend last night. I was talking to him for a while about the club, and something that I'd said a long time ago, and he kind of brought it up. A lot of these players, you get the impression they feel like they're doing us a favour by being at this club. I remember really distinctly, because I watched it back, it was an interview with Rio Ferdinand, and Rio Ferdinand, when he joined, was already one of the best centre-backs in world football. Obviously went on to have that legendary partnership with Man Utd. He went through everything at United, won everything at the club, and is done as one of the best centre defenders of all time, certainly in the modern era. When he first joined, he said there was a little bit of a feeling within himself that he looked around the place like he made it, and Roy Keane went through him for that. Roy Keane said, you haven't made it, this is only the first step. I think if we're talking mentality-wise, just to bring it back to that Ronaldo point, I think a lot of these players look at United as the end goal. They get here and they say, we've made it. £200,000 a week, playing at Old Trafford, lots of merch sales, lots of social media interactions, building my brand. I don't know how many players are really coming here with the with the aura that they're going to win, with the desire that the work begins now, and like you've done well to make it this far, and now you got to keep on going. Let me see what else everyone's saying down below as well. Stephanie goes, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the live show. Yes, guys, that would be appreciated. Tell you what, guys, as well, I'm gonna do a quick poll. Sorry, not a quick poll, a quick post after this match, because I think I need to get some. I do think I need to get some mods and stuff on the channel. We've got a couple maybe, but some of them do seem to be inactive. So if you guys would want to, let me know if you would be up for being a mod in like the live chats and stuff as well. Would be massively appreciated. Stephanie goes, is there a possibility we end up with Karim Benzema, and would you take him for 6 months? I think I've seen an interesting report. It looked like Benzema had left Saudi Arabia for a while. I'm not too sure why or what the official reason is behind that. I mean, look, if you can get him, that he is still a fantastic player, absolutely. But I don't know. I don't know if that would be the plan. I don't know where we go with that. Razak goes, will Tottenham get Werner Lodendale? Yes, they will, seemingly. Big T says, join the Discord and get chatting in it. Let's get it booming as a community. Yeah, guys, there is a Discord down below. We've been posting in it quite regularly, more regularly, let's say. But it is still only a couple of people in there. So you guys do want to check out the Discord. It's in the bio, the link for that. It should still be active, but it does seem to drop off every once in a while. Look, I want to get talking about this one. This is going to make a couple of people laugh. It's a bit of a comedy story. It's Jadon Sancho back to Borussia Dortmund. So The agreement in principle between Dortmund and Manchester United has been made. The deal package will cost a total £3 million for Borussia Dortmund to bring Sancho in until the end of the season. And I think everyone's going to have a good laugh at this one. This is a funny bit here. And this is a real quote. Borussia Dortmund's agreement in principle with United for Sancho's loan deal is worth £3 million. United are not happy about this figure as being leaked, as they see it as they will look like losers. I mean, you know who we're talking about. I mean, if this club doesn't think they already look like losers, I don't know what to say about that as well. Let me just quickly put that in the chat. This here's a funny one. You guys will like this. I'll put that in. Let me just quickly do that. Let me quickly do that. And there we go. Big T says as well, I'm tired of Real Madrid pensioners. Let's at least raid Barcelona for change. If I don't know what Barcelona's team even looks like these days as well. I really have fallen out of love with Spanish football and don't really watch it now. It's not on Sky as much. But yeah, like there's probably some good players out there. Maybe Frankie de Jong will go in for him again. Rizak goes, Woodward and Murda must drink wine when they watch a youth game. Sometimes you think that. Big T said the issue with the Discord is that when you create a select valid 7 days. Oh, right. I didn't know it did that. Guys, drop a like on the video as well. But look, United's thinking that they don't look like they don't want to look like losers. I don't know. I think they already do look like losers. I think they've looked like losers for a very long time. And I think it's complete delusion if they can't see through that there. If the club genuinely can't look at themselves and see where the problems have been, then I don't know. Like, you have to question the mentality of these people running the club. You genuinely have to question, what is John Murda doing that he can't see that we are an absolute joke of a club and we have been for 10 years? What is Arnold doing? Because he's been here for 15, 16 years. Thankfully he's gone now, but still a lot of those remnants are there. And because only in September he was still CEO, acting in full capacity, saying nice and loudly, nice and publicly, that we are very close to catching Manchester City. I don't know where the mirrors are in this place, but they need to have a good, hard, long look at themselves as well. Let me quickly change that Discord link as well, just because Big T has flagged it to me. Rizak goes, look at Goldbridge. Clickbaiting fans, it's not agreed yet. What are we talking here? Are we talking the Sancho thing? Look, I mean, United fans do kind of jump in with it a little bit and go early because it's one of those things. It's like if you go early with it and then you prove to be right, then you look really smart. And then other places, whenever they get it wrong, they'll just say, oh, something happened. United messed the deal up last minute and it's all United's fault. Our information was good. Rashad said, how about Firmino to United? Oh man, I couldn't say Firmino at the club. There was a time we were in for him. I think we were genuinely after him when he was at Hoffenheim. Obviously, he went to Liverpool, had a really good career there, won everything. Luman's in the chat. Good to see you. Thanks, Luman. Much appreciated. And it seems like all are at fault at Man United, says Luman. It does. It does feel like that. It really does. Look, I think just to go back to the main story for anyone who did miss it, this is a club divided once again. We're talking about an anti-Mitten article. So basically, some players in the dressing room are behind Ten Hag, and some players don't believe in him anymore. Ten Hag is also believing in some players in the dressing room, and other players he has had enough of and thinks they will not ever be able to follow his instructions or do what he's meant to do. Then we also have the case as well within the club. Nobody knows what they're meant to be doing as well. There's this takeover has gone on for so long that people have got complacent. They don't know if they're going to be in a job, and they've kind of just took the opinion over the last 6-7 months, really, that it doesn't matter what they do in their job because they're probably just going to get sacked anyway when Ineos eventually do take over. Big T6 Goldbridge will do a video on the same topic on 3 different channels. It's all about those clicks. Yeah, look, I mean, he'll probably have a video up about Timo Werner going to he'll probably have a Timo Werner video up on That's Football right now. Then he'll probably have done one about him not going to United on United stand, and then maybe he'll have done like a TikTok or something talking about it. So he's a busy guy. He does milk it for the content, but I mean, he's got like 3 channels over 1 million subs, and I have 2,100 and something. So yeah, I mean, I think Goldbridge probably doing a bit better than me as well, if I'm being honest. Rajat goes, Dybala is about 13 million. Yeah, I've seen that there. I mean, look, Paulo Dybala is another player like Antoine Griezmann that we should just be staying well clear of. He is, like pushing 30. He's always been injury prone, but even now he still is very injury prone as well. So I do think that probably time for Paulo Dybala just to be put in the back burner. Let's look for younger players. Let's look for the next Paulo Dybala. Let's look for the next player who can come in and have that kind of impact at the club as well. Big T, cheers about the Discord link there. I have updated it, so it shouldn't expire. I'll quickly update the one in the chat as well. There is a Discord, guys. Want to try to get it nice and active, so we can post in there about when we're going live and stuff as well. Let me quickly do that. And happy days. Guys, so let's move on really quickly to Manchester United versus Wigan. So this is, of course, the next match. I want to do a little bit of a preview for this one. So we're coming up Wigan on Monday. So I think it's an 8 o'clock kickoff at the DW Stadium. Look, this should be an absolute nailed-on win. There is no way we shouldn't be struggling against League One Wigan Athletic. We should be winning this match very comfortably. And that's exactly why you get the fear of it when we're coming into it. Lemon Ghost would take Werner over Rashford any day. Stephanie says 15 likes. And as I said, he gives Jaden updates every 2 hours. Yeah, look, it's all about that content, guys. The more you put out, the better your channel does anyway. Stephanie says more mercenaries, please. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can avoid that there. Maybe Richard Arnold's no dickheads policy can come true now that he isn't at the club anymore. Maybe that's what we can be saying. Who knows? But look, guys, Wigan Athletic on Monday. It's going to be an interesting one. It's pretty much the last match in the FA Cup round 3. We got to be winning this match and going on to the next one. I think it's an interesting one. I hope we get to see some subs in this match. I want to see Bayern Dare playing. I want to see some changes in that back line. Maybe we'll see Kambuala play again. Maybe Miney in midfield. We could see Wan-Bissaka. Maybe I'll probably say Johnny Evans is going to be in there. Malacia might be back as well by that point. We could see Casemiro return. That is potential. Lissandro Martinez back in training as well. Ed Barrett says Arnold. I'm out of clock kickoff time. I'm out of clock. I don't know. Maybe I'm not getting out. There was like, yeah, I see. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, like I want to see Amad Diallo in there. I want to see probably Garnacho playing as well. And I guess we'll probably see big Facundo Pellistri. Big T says if we lose to Wigan, what are we changing this channel to? If we lose to Wigan, I'm changing it. If we lose to Wigan Athletic on Monday, maybe we'll change this and just cover the women's team. Maybe that's what we'll do. Lemon goes, don't overestimate us away to Wigan on a Monday. Look, that's the exact kind of match that we would go out there and lose as well. Wigan Athletic, I mean, they've had a rough time of it in recent years, but this will be a big match for them. It actually will be a big match, all things considered, for Wigan Athletic. Even though they're 18th in League One, we should absolutely be beating Wigan Athletic. They've lost their last 3 matches against Derby, against Carlisle, and against Reading. This should be an absolute no-brainer. This should be an absolute win, and we should see plenty of changes. Some younger players out there, which I guess that could be exciting. Maybe we'll see some better performance. Get Dan Gore on the pitch. Maybe get Hannibal on the pitch. Kobe Manu's a potential in there. Maybe Mount comes back. I'm not too sure about that one. Ericsson, you would imagine, be floating around. I think it'll be an interesting one. I think we will see some alterations. We will see some changes. And I hope we get through. I really do, because I think the FA Cup might be a welcome distraction. And I think going by what's happening today in some of the matches, it could be an interesting one. Ed says, I'm at to start. Yeah, I want him at to start. Jarl says, United Twitter page is hinting that Martinez will play in the FA Cup. I hope so, because he's got to build his fitness up somewhere, and playing against Wigan is a good way to do that. Rajak goes, what is Wigan, like 16th? Yeah, they are 18th in League One, so this has to be a win, absolutely. Stephanie says, we all get hammered by Wigan 3-0. Ten Hag sacked. Obviously, I want the opposite. Nelson is down there. Why don't we play Charlie McNeil? I think Charlie McNeil might be in it. I think he might be on loan. I'm almost positive that he's on loan. We could play Joe Hugel in this match. I think I would like to see Hoyland, because I think if he can get some goals, I think that'll be good for him. Charlie McNeil was on loan at Stevenage, but he returned from that loan 3 days ago. So, I mean, he is back. He is available, I guess, for selection, and we can pick him. Liman goes, why are we asking Ahmad and Garnacho to play? Aren't they like first choice for now? I don't think so, because I think Rashford will be back. You have to imagine Ten Hag's going to pick Anthony as and when he can, because he always does. So that's why I think Ahmad's going to play. Ed says, can't underestimate the Wendy Wigan. We're bad and Wigan are at home. That's also true. Thankfully, Wigan are bad as well. Rosat said Anthony's probably going to play. I hope not. I really, really hope not. But I think we'll see some subs. I think Ahmad might be one. Will you say Ahmad or Pellistri start? That's my prediction on the right hand side. Left hand side, you have to think it's Garnacho. Has to be, because he'll probably play Rashford, Højlund, and Anthony against Spurs. I think that's what he'll go for. So I think you will probably get, I don't know, maybe Martial. Does Martial come back in? I mean, he's been ill for 3 or 4 weeks at this point. Rosat as well says, Firmino to United comment made me sick, but your Anthony to play against Wigan is killing me. Oh, guys. Of course, look, Wigan's going to be an interesting one. Their fans will be up for it. It's actually a massive Manchester United following as well going to that match. I think it's something like 7,200 United fans are going to be there. Wigan fans obviously not happy about that. We've basically got an entire stand at the DW Stadium. So you got to think that it's... we'll be right up for this as well. And I hope it'll be a good one. Rosat goes, Højlund will play and bag another 2 goals. I think he needs it. Like, honestly, that's why I'm kind of thinking, do we put him in? Do we try to build up his confidence and get him some more goals? Nelson says, you think Charlie McNeil could be another Van Nistelrooy? I like Charlie McNeil. I really do like Charlie McNeil. I think there's a really good striker in there, a really good finisher. What happens to him in terms of injuries and stuff is going to be questionable. Look, things didn't go to plan for him at Stevenage this season. I think he might have went to Forest Green before that as well. But according to Manchester Evening News, he is set to stay at United till the rest of the season. He's available, so we could see either him or Hugo come on at some point. McNeil was a player probably higher rated than Joe Hugo. I think Hugo did okay in pre-season. I think he scored a goal actually in one of the first matches. So certainly Joe Hugo, McNeil, they could be involved, but I would be surprised if they would as well. Ed says, has Alvaro Fernandez been officially recalled yet? No, he hasn't. I think he probably stays on loan for the rest of the season. It does look like he might leave. It looks like Benfica are sniffing around there. Look, he's a good player. Probably has a lot more potential than we'll get out of Tyrell Malacia. Probably could be a long-term successor to Luke Shaw, but it all depends on what the club want to do as well, because I think by all reckoning there's another full-back at the club doing really, really well. Like we did sign from, I think it's Watford. I think it's Harry Amas. He does seem to be a really, really highly rated young player at 16. So it's about what the club want to do there. I think only one's going to make it. So is it going to be Amas in a couple of years' time, or is it going to be Fernandez? Now that's the question that we will be asking. Rosacco seems like Villarreal want Pellistri on a permanent deal. Yeah, look, it looks to be a loan to buy. It looked like United wanted maybe something like 10 to 20 million pounds. I think if you get 20 million for Pellistri, I'd probably take it. 10 million, probably not. I don't know if it's worth it for that amount, but if you get 20 million, like, look, I like Pellistri. I think he works hard, and I think that there is a player in there who offers something, but I just don't think he's as good as the other right wingers we have. I think he's better than Anthony, but I mean, compare him to Ahmad, I don't think he's the same level player. Compare him to what Shea Lacey is going to be coming through the academy. He's not that level either. So I think, I don't know. If a good offer came in, maybe we take it. What else have I got done in the comments? It seemed to be really popping off here as well. Jarl says, would United play Anthony Martial when we're going to sell him to Turkey? I seen bits about that, but it's not coming from the best sources at the minute. I guess we'll find out what happens. I know Fenerbahce seem to be interested, or maybe because Besiktas, but I think we could see Martial go, and I wouldn't be surprised. It's either sell him now for 5 or 6 million or lose him for free in the summer. That's pretty much the only options we have. And I think Martial needs United more than we need Martial at this moment in time. Stephanie says Jurado is right back, looked well pre-season. I mean, yeah, Mark Jurado did look good. I think he's left the club as well now. Obviously part of that big youth call that we had in the summer transfer window. A lot of players. I think the one we really look silly for, though, is Ted and Mengi going for £1 million. That really does seem to be a bad bit of business. At least we have a big sell-on clause. I think it's something like 40 or 50% for Luton Town. So if he does go for a decent chunk of money, we can get some more money in as well. Stephanie goes, class of 22 need to be given a go. Yeah, look, some of them do. Some of them really do. I think there is quality in there. You got quality in Garnacho, you got quality in Kobe Manu. There are other good players kicking about as well, but some players, I don't know if they're going to make it at this club. If we're being brutally honest with ourselves, look, I think Manu and Garnacho were the nailed-on players. I think you got question marks over Hannibal. I think you got question marks over Gore. Palistри's maybe another one that there could be question marks raised over what he's going to be doing long term. Alvaro Fernandez, of course, plenty of players coming through. Might not all make it at United, but a lot of those players will make it elsewhere, and I think that's a good indication of where the academy is going. Look, I think the interesting story at the minute, guys, is Isaac Hansen-Aron, a player who seemingly was left out for most of the season, who looked like he might be going, has suddenly started appearing in first team training photos and suddenly started to pop up in a lot of these training videos and stuff after not being involved all season. I'm not too sure what's going to happen there. There was the expectation that Hansen-Aron leaves the club. I think you got a hell of a player in there, probably better player in terms of potential in Hansen-Aron as opposed to like Hannibal, for instance. Let me see what we got down below. Stephanie goes, remember to keep liking early plays. 32 watts, not even 20 likes yet. Yeah, guys, drop a like, hit a sub button as well. Would be really appreciated if we haven't already. Nelson says, what about this Benzema rumours? It's absolutely embarrassing. I do not need another Igalo at the club. Bringing Josh King or someone that for 6 months that would help us. I mean, Josh King was another one. It really was. It's just frustrating, guys. Like, because Martial, there should have been a much better player come out of him than what we got. We should have a much better player out of Højlund than what we've got. So you could see us bringing in a striker. I don't know if a striker is going to answer our goal scoring questions. And I know that sounds redundant, but we genuinely don't make any chances, and that for me is a big concern. So I don't know if putting anyone up front is going to make a big deal out of it. Rizak goes, do not go for Josh King, although he's not here anymore. And Jarl is saying selling Hansen would maybe be one of the bigger mistakes we could do. City wants him. Look, he's a top player. Really, really, really technically good player. Ed says Harry Hamas is too small. Alvaro is one of the few youngsters that we have that is tall. Yeah, look, that's also true. I think Harry Hamas is listed at 1.81 meters. I'm not too sure what that is in terms of height. I do think we'll see some players coming in for this Wigan match. I think Cambuala might be another one that we could see. Let me just quickly do one thing, guys. I'm really like bad when it comes to like meters and stuff. I don't know why. Jordy is down there. How are the lads? He says, yeah, look, good result for you guys earlier. I watched a little bit of that match. I don't know how you guys even played it. Like, those kids were just far too similar. I really couldn't see what was happening there as well. Give me 1 second, guys. Just when we're talking about Harry Hamas, because if he is legit 5'11", then I don't see too much of an issue with that. Obviously, look, that might be an overestimation. Jordy says, Isaac is the new Malcolm Slayer. Stephanie says, yeah, Lacey to be the next big thing, plus Dan Gore. I think there's a good player in Dan Gore. I think there's something special in Shea Lacey. Look, the concern is with Lacey is, can he handle it physically? That's my question. Is he going to be able to deal with that physically? That's the only question. No question about the talent, no question about the ability, no question about what he can do on the ball. But in the Premier League, we do struggle to protect these smaller players who might want more time on the ball. That's why we don't have a lot of those type of players. Rizalco's United youth has not been so good. It depends what youth team we're talking about. I think under 18s are doing really well at the minute, man. I'm pretty sure under 18s haven't lost all season. Let me see the under 18 team. I'm pretty sure they're top of their league. Yeah, the top of the league under 18 team played 10, won 10. So it doesn't get any better in terms of that. That under 18 team. They've won every single match they've played this season in the league. I think the under 23s, yeah, they're probably struggling as well. And that's kind of the 21s. That's probably where you're getting some of the struggle there as well. Let me see as well. Lemon goes, no matter what, we should never forgive Radcliffe for coming, our dear club, and the Qataris. Look, man, I'm cautiously optimistic at this moment in time, whether or not it's Radcliffe propaganda, whether or not it's PR at the minute that's coming out, but there does seem to be a better buzz around the place. Ed Barr says 5'11". I shall research and adjust my appraisal accordingly. maybe I read it wrong. Like, I did just Google Harry Hamas and it came up there. I'm not too sure if it's Wikipedia. I wouldn't trust it. If it's coming from United's actual account, then I don't know, maybe. I mean, 5'11" is decent height for a fullback. The man says, we have fans, haven't realised what we haven't missed by getting the Qataris. I guess, look, I think it's one of those situations. You can't miss what you haven't had. You can't miss what wasn't there. And there's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes might have happened to this takeover, but ultimately the Qataris didn't give the money that the Glazer family wanted. And that's why we have Radcliffe coming in to the club. Is it what a lot of people wanted? No. Is it the full takeover we wanted to see? No. But could it still work? Yeah, it could. It could still work. And it's not that Radcliffe is a guy without any money. I think his personal fortune's like 23 billion. I think Ineos earned something like 60 or 80 billion a year anyway. So I'm not too sure on that there one. Nelson said Radcliffe wants to get Osimhen, but he's going to Chelsea apparently. He could go. He could go to Chelsea. I have seen those rumours already as well. Let me see. Jarl is on there. Ineos can not do much until maybe the summer. 200 million will give us 400 million budget, and there's enough for Mitchell to get things going. Absolutely, absolutely. It's like I said. Look, I was on I think United Agenda the other night when I said it. I think if you give Paul Mitchell 50 million, he probably gets more quality players for that than what John Murda would have got with 200 million. And I think that's the difference in quality we're talking. So I think giving people who know what they're doing the resources of Manchester United, you should be getting a lot of good players in every single window, even if they're not household names, even if they're not players signed for like 80, 90 million pounds, you're still going to get top quality players. Which that goes, it isn't the takeover we wanted, but hopefully it will bring changes. Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us would say. It's not the takeover we wanted, but it is the takeover we've got. Limon goes, that's true. Maybe Sheikh Yassim was short a billion or two. I think the problem with the problem with Sheikh Yassim seemed to be that his father didn't seem willing to put the money in alongside him, and obviously he lost a lot of money himself kind of at the beginning of last year when Credit Suisse got into a lot of financial difficulty, and he seemed to lose a lot of money there. So I think that maybe was one of the big issues. But certainly, look, it's the takeover we got. Radcliffe swooped in. He managed to get whatever kind of deal he has got done. I think pretty soon he's going to have more than 25% as well, just whenever everything goes through. Do remember, of course, that he will, and there's money being invested, will, of course, mean that whenever it goes in, he'll have something like 29 or 30%. Jeremy says, what's the last time a signing over 50 million has worked out for us anyway? It's true. It's true. It really is, Jeremy. Maybe Bruno. I genuinely think you could argue Bruno is maybe our last top level signing. Just an interesting one here as well, guys. Breaking in the last 10 seconds from Fabrizio Romano. It's a player we were talking about and questioning would he have any kind of feature at all in Monday night, and the answer is going to be no now, and that is Hannibal Mabry. Hannibal Mabry is going to Sevilla on loan, seemingly. That's according to Fabrizio. That's literally breaking in the last 10 seconds. Let me just quickly read out the full story here. Just going to put the headline into the chat there for you guys. Hannibal Mejbri has decided to join Sevilla on loan. Freiburg and Lyon were in for him as well, but Sevilla, it has been on from August. United pulled the plug on it in August, and now it is ready to sign Hannibal. United and Sevilla will also discuss the terms of the loan. There is a potential option to buy and a buyback clause if the loan does go through. So, question marks over Hannibal's long-term future there. There could be an option to buy for Sevilla. I think this is the kind of deal you have to look at. If it's a good buyback clause, 20-30 million pounds, maybe that's not too bad. But we need to sell academy players and academy graduates to really help the FFP. That's something that will help us. That's why Man City have been selling a lot of academy players in recent years. Cole Palmer, Romeo Lavia, Bazunu, Trafford, just to name a few. And that is counted as pure profit by FFP. That's where a lot of money will come in. So if we can sell Hannibal, or if we can sell bigger players, maybe a McTominay, maybe even a Rashford, if Mbappe does leave, then you're looking at a lot of extra transfer budget. Stephanie goes, Mitchell's looking at Guerrera, the Valencia hybrid between a 6 and an 8. Yeah, I think Guerrera is an interesting player. He does seem to do well kind of a little bit further up the pitch. He does seem to be a decent dribbler. I was looking at some of the numbers there. I think some of his passing numbers are a little bit lower than what we want to see, but I think we need ball carriers as well. Maybe that's something we're looking at. Nelson goes, if Mbappe goes to Liverpool, it's over. They don't have the money for that. You don't have to worry about that, man. Rajak goes, did Zambrano go to Bournemouth? I really hope not, because I think Zambrano is looking like another Moses Caicedo type player that we're going to lose out on, who we could have bought for very cheap, and we're letting him go elsewhere. Limon goes, Stephanie won't spare Radcliffe if he messes up with the club. He better not. I don't think he will. Daniel's on there as well. Good to see it, Daniel. Stephanie goes, Hannibal signed a year extension recently and is now loaned out. That's United. Yep, that's exactly what we do. And knowing us, we're probably going to nearly all of his wages as well. Yeah, Daniel, we were just talking there about Hannibal as well. Lucky Singh in the comments. Good to see you. Martial and Sancho out. And Eileen. Let me see. Ed is saying as well, Hannibal deserves to be seen. He should have every one of McTominay's minutes this season. Yeah, I mean, I think there's still a player in Hannibal. I think he's actually better when he plays deeper, and I think that's something we miss seeing. A lot of people think of him as like an attacking number 10 type playmaker, but he was really good at Birmingham. He had a lot of on-ball responsibility. He dropped deep, got on the ball and turned, and then got Birmingham up the pitch. He did well there, survived a lot of kickings in the Championship, and that's probably where he got the temper that we're now seeing from him as well. But look, Sevilla's not a bad loan for him. I think they've been struggling in La Liga this season as well. An interesting one as well. Manchester United have opened a dialogue with Tottenham over Rand Sessegnon going to Old Trafford. I don't know why we'd be looking at another fullback from Tottenham if that's the case, but I'll put that into the chat as well, guys. That doesn't make sense at all to me. Big ups on 16 likes as well. Look, guys, there's 36 people in the chat as well. Drop a like and hit the sub button if you guys haven't already. Can we get up to 20 or 30 likes? But yeah, look, I can't see us going back to Tottenham for another left back as well. Daniel goes, what? McTominay is horrible as a centre defensive midfielder. Yeah, he's just not good enough, man. Full stop. He just ghosts matches. Even when he plays further up and plays in these positions where he gets goals, he still ghosts. For me, Nelson says City got the new Messi. Now apparently he's young and is already compared to Messi. With Ahmad apparently is compared to Messi according to the GOAT as well. Jeremy says Hannibal needs to work on the discipline. Look, I don't mind that. I really don't. I think you've a lot of young players out there scared to put a tackle in. Hannibal will happily kick lumps out of anybody, and that's sometimes you need that. Sometimes you do need that as well. Jack says McTominay is crap anywhere you put him. Centre, CDM, centre mid. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I just don't think there's a high level player there, but we should have sold him in the summer, and that would have been pure profit. It's just frustrating, guys, as well. We have an interesting one here from Sky Sports on Zambrano as well. So apparently we're ramping up our efforts to sign him. I don't think the deal to Bournemouth must be fully done then, and I think that's a good thing because I was looking into the numbers. I was looking at this guy originally, and I was like, is this just another one of these nonsense stories that comes up? You know, when we see like Bournemouth, Southampton, Preston North End link with a player, and then randomly United are stuck on at the end, and you're like, are we just being put in there to sell a story? But there does seem to be something in this, and I was looking at this player. He does look really good in terms of his passing, really good at sitting deep and breaking the lines with his forward passing, and that's kind of what we've been missing sometimes as well in there. Reserved, proper forward passing, the kind of stuff you see from Rodri or from a Declan Rice type player. I don't think he's anywhere near that level, but it's certainly a player to watch out for as well. Daniel said McTominay is a passion merchant with no actual skill or intelligence. Yeah, look, I will say this: McTominay's skill set should not stand out because you should be passionate and desire playing for Manchester United. You should work hard and put tackles in, regardless of who you are. So he really shouldn't be standing out. A fan could do that. Do you know what I mean? Ed says Hannibal has always been hot-headed. I think that's the biggest reason Ten Hag's reluctant to play him. Yeah, look, he does look like a walking red card at times. He really does. Stephanie says McTominay needs to be moved on. He's shocking. Incomings in youth pathway. Blocking youth incomings with as well. Had his chances. It's just not cutting it. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I absolutely would. Razak goes, good for the odd interview as well. Yeah, that's maybe true. That's maybe true as well. Look, guys, in terms of that poll, when we're asking about what we're going to see in this upcoming transfer window, a lot of people think that we're going to have loan signings or no signings. Not too many people are thinking there's definitely going to be money spent in this window, and I think it's an interesting one. Here's an interesting one as well. I do want to point this out because Roberto De Zerbi has given a lot of credit for signing João Pedro to the recruitment team at Brighton and Hove Albion, as he didn't actually know who João Pedro was when he signed for the team, and when they were initially in for him. And look, that's what I mean about how the difference a good recruitment team can make, and a manager can focus on coaching and working on that there. That's what we need. That's what we really do need. We shouldn't have managers calling up players, calling up agents. That's not what a professional club should be doing. Let the guy focus on working and let him do his coaching stuff, and that goes for whoever it is. If it's Ten Hag, if it's someone else, it doesn't matter really. Yes, Stephanie, we do need 2 more likes to get to 20. Can we get there as well? Lucky says at the end of the day we need to score more goals. I agree with that. I do agree with that as well. Daniel said a poll for McTominay out, oh man, it'll just be 100% out. I know it already. That's definitely going to be the result of that poll. Lemans goes, would Radcliffe get rid of his fellow Brit McTominay? Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be Radcliffe decisions. I think that's an important thing. It's not going to be Radcliffe running our club. Yes, he will be the guy buying in, but it's going to be Blanc, it's going to be Mitchell, it's going to be Ashworth, it's going to be Friedman, it's going to be Brailsford. The kind of footballing board that they're building and they're looking to put in place are the guys going to be making the big calls. They tried this at Nice. It didn't work when Radcliffe and Ineos tried to run the club directly. They brought football people in, and Nice are a much bigger success now as well. Liman goes, definitely let my fam get the 3 legs. Rizak goes, we don't take our chances. No, look, we're in a frustrating position. We don't score enough goals. We don't create enough chances, and the chances we do create, we don't score. So that's kind of the top and bottom of our problem there. And it's like that old David Moyes quote as well. David Moyes, like 10 years ago, said we need to be better in a number of areas, including chance creation, passing, scoring, defending, and keeping hold of the ball. So pretty much everything. And that was 10 years ago. I don't think that's aged particularly well, because we haven't improved in a lot of those areas, and it's just going to be questionable as to what happens across that there. Hannibal potentially going to Sevilla is an interesting one as well. That's just for you guys to know as well. That's confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, so that looks to be happening pretty soon in this window. I can't complain about it. If he's not going to get minutes here, let him go somewhere else. Let him develop as a player. Let him work and see what he can grow into as well. Man Utd is down there. Thanks very much. Rajak goes 100% or 90% or it's going to be keeping. Not many want McTominay. No, I agree with that as well. Nelson says Choupo-Moting is going to United. I mean, look, that's a rumor. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if he's going to come to us. Is that the answer to our question? I'm not too sure. Dark Crow as well down there. Thank you for joining in. Lucky says, I need to see 5 players in the box attacking. Yeah, we do. We need to see more players attacking the box, more chances being made. And I think you'll get that when you start playing Bruno in his best position. You don't just play McTominay in those areas. Play your best players in their best positions, and you're probably going to get a lot more out of them. That's my general approach to that there one. Look, guys, any more thoughts, make sure to drop them in down below. I think I'm going to record a video after this as well. So if you have any video ideas, let me know if you want me to go more in depth than anything. Big ups and 21 likes as well. Much appreciated as always, guys. But yeah, look, if you have any video ideas, drop it into the comments. I think I'll put a community post up as well, because YouTube is looking to get some mods under the channel. They've like sent me things about that before as well. Look, we don't have enough. So if you guys would be up for being a mod, let me know as well. Lucky says, if we buy one player, we need a reliable striker. I think, yeah, look, you got to take the chances you get, but we got to make a lot more of them. We have one good chance a match. That's still not anywhere near enough created. You know, even if you had a Haaland in this team, you probably don't get a lot more goals, because we don't make any opportunities for those strikers. It's always a graveyard shift as well. It's always questionable whether or not we can do it. What have we got here as well, guys? We are at 53. Jarl says, what surprised me this week is the investment in the club. Radcliffe will have 29% of the club. That is 29% less ownership for Glazers, and I will not create the cake yet. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Nelson says, I don't mind being a mod. Ed says, German rules mean we have to buy, not loan. Can you be mod? Yeah, look, if everybody, I'll put a post up. If you guys can put your names down for it, I can do it all from there as well. And if you just want to comment on it. Lucky says Guirassy is another player available. Yeah, look, he's having a good season for Stuttgart, but I don't know if it's anything exceptional. Like, do you want Muller as a backup? I mean, he's not really what I would call an out-and-out striker. Never has been. Never really has been Thomas Muller, but I think he's a good player. Always has been. Always has been a goal scorer, but he's never really been an out-and-out number 9 either. Timo Werner has just gone back to the Premier League and has joined Tottenham as well. So, I mean, that's going to be an interesting one. We have, of course, Nunes and Timo Werner in the one league. That's going to be interesting. What do we got? 33 views. Can everybody hit the like button as well, guys? Zach says, Osman, here we go. I don't think we're going to see it as well. Nelson wants to be made a mod. What we'll do, Nelson, is I'll put a post up on this afterwards. If everybody can go onto that there one, it's just difficult to do it whenever I'm still on a live stream. I don't know if I can still do it on here either. Let me just double check. Yeah, look, Osman's not going to come in I don't think Osman's coming. He might go elsewhere, but I would be surprised if he comes to United. Look, guys, I think that's going to do us for tonight's stream anyway. Thanks so much for joining in. I really do appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed in this one as well. Rajat, I don't know about Frimpong this June. Just to answer that question real quickly. Look, guys, gonna leave it here. Thanks so much for joining in. I'll catch everyone in the next one. If you guys have any video ideas, make sure to drop them into the comment once the live stream ends here as well. And I will run a poll as well, or a post up on the actual channel as well. So if anyone wants to be a mod and help me out, would be massively appreciated. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a good Saturday as well. Enjoy the football if you're watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.